Hello and thank you for stopping by to understand this poem together. We're going to do this poem When Great Trees Fall by Maya Angelou. This is in the ICSE syllabus for class 10th, right? It's a poem and I'm going to help you understand it. So basically, when great trees fall is a metaphor for a tree that falls down, which means somebody great has died. Now, because the word is trees, we cannot say that it is for a particular person. And therefore, we need to understand that although the poet, right, Maya Angelou, she wrote it for James Baldwin. Although the poet Maya Angelou wrote it for James Baldwin, it's not particularly for him only, which of course he died in 1987 and she wrote it for his funeral. But it is also for all the great people who die and suddenly we feel their loss. The poem, basically the theme of this poem is grief, nostalgia, regret, searching for greater meaning after the death of somebody who's great. It also tells us that no matter what happens, there will be new growth and something new is going to follow. So although the poem starts with regret, it starts with sorrow, it continues to give us new hope. It gives us resilience and gives us strength. So these are the major themes of the poem. Now, what is the structure of the poem? It's got 5 stanzas. So the poem has 5 stanzas. Number 1, the first stanza is the shock of the loss of the dead person. The second is the silence, where you do not know what's happening. And then is this grief and emptiness. You find yourself to be full of emptiness. You do not know what's happening. Then it's almost falling apart. Like everything seems to be over. Nothing makes sense. And out of that comes healing and hope. So that is your 5th one, healing and hope. I hope you will enjoy this poem and understand it. Great. If there's anything that you need to know, you can always give it to me in the comment section and I'll respond. So we begin this poem and it starts with when great trees fall. Always remember there's the plural over here. When great trees fall. Okay, so it means when great people die. Right? So the tree over here, the trees over here is a metaphor. Metaphor means a symbol. The metaphor basically means it's a symbol over here. So when great trees fall is a metaphor, it's a symbol. That's when great people die. Rocks on distant hills shudder. He says the rocks, even which are far away, even they begin to shake in fear. It means when a great person dies, the shock waves, right? The fear is even felt by people who are far away, who may not even know the person. Got it? So when a great person dies and suddenly you hear the news, and suddenly you hear the news of this great person dying, it creates a shock. You begin to think, how did this happen? What happened? And you may not even know it. This is what happens with great personalities. And then it says, the lions hunker down in tall grasses and even elephants lumber for safety. So he said even the lions and the elephants, very courageous, very large and strong. Got it? So the lion is brave, strong, courageous. And of course, the elephant is huge. So no matter who you are, how great you are, when you hear of death, you begin to feel frightened. No matter who the person is, death frightens people. So it shows that death is so powerful that it frightens the strongest individual. So no matter how strong you are, death gives you a sense of fear, and you begin to think, many people will begin to think what happened, not only for that person, but they internalize it. That means they think about themselves. And that is why over here, even the lions and the elephants, they run in safety when a tall or a strong tree falls. It's not a tall tree, it's a strong tree, it's a powerful tree. When the great tree falls in forest, small things recall in silence. He says, when a great tree falls, small things are everyday activities. Everyday activities, they suddenly recoil in silence. People become silent. So this is what happens after the aftermath of death, right? I told you the first stanza says it was a shock. Got it? The first stanza was a shock. Then is the silence that comes after death. So when the great tree falls, what happens? Small things recoil in silence. Everything becomes silent. Got it? The everyday activities, they stop out of respect or out of fear, but they stop, right? Everything stops, and there's a time of reflection. There's a time of being silent. There's a time when everybody begins to think, introspect. That means think internally what's going to happen to my life, etc. Their senses erode beyond fear. He says, and the small things are so shocked. The tiny creatures, got it, people, insignificant everyday life, normal things are influenced, shocked. They cannot feel normal, they cannot fear anymore. He says you cannot feel normal, you cannot feel anymore the same. It's like when the death of Mahatma Gandhi, the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi, you can think about it in that way also. Everyone was influenced, there was shock. Simply numb. Numb is not knowing what's going to happen. And this describes the emotional numbness. Numbness is again when you cannot feel anything. Got it? They recoil in silence. Their senses erode. Their senses, basically, they cannot feel anything. Beyond fear. And it's more than fear. It's not just afraid of something, because when you're afraid of something, you know what you're afraid of. This is a fear of the unknown. Got it? So that is why it's called, he says, beyond fear. Why? Because it is the fear of unknown. We call it anxiety. So you're afraid of what you do not know about, the unknown. When great souls die, now you see it shifts. We were talking about trees, and now we are talking about great souls. Great souls is great people. People who have made an influence in life, who have influenced many people's lives. The air around us becomes light, rare, and sterile. So it talks immediately about human beings. He says even the air becomes hard to breathe. Why? Because it's empty. Sterile means empty. There's something left us. The great knowledge, the great example that they were showing has suddenly gone. And cold, got it? It becomes sterile, it becomes lifeless, it becomes cold, as though the life from the entire room has been sucked up. The life from the atmosphere has been sucked up. So we all feel a great loss, and we feel that this person who has died has contributed so much. Now, how will it be replaced? We are always thinking about the replacement. We are thinking how things can happen in a manner as it used to happen. So I just cut that. So we are thinking how we can compensate for what has been lost. And this thinking of compensation for what has been lost is what makes us feel sterile. Got it? Emptiness. We breathe briefly, even our breath is less. You gasp for breath. When someone dies, you get a shock. So that's, he says, we gasp for breath. Suddenly we see the world in painful and sharp focus. And then we begin to see, our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. And we see the world with, a sharp focus and then we realize the world is fragile. No matter what happens, things have to change. Anyone alive will die. All great people will pass. And we look at this transition and you suddenly feel hurt. But the hurt gives you clarity. Clarity means clearness of life. What is it? That change is inevitable. Got it? Change is inevitable. We focus on how fragile life is, and we look about of things which we took for granted. We think, oh, this person is there, he will take a decision, and suddenly the person is no more. So what do we do? And this whole idea of what do we do is what gives this poem its sorrow, its reflective nature, as well as the fear of losing, the fear of the unknown. Our memory suddenly sharpens, examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid, promised walks never taken. So our mind begins to again start racing. Our memory suddenly sharpens means we begin to start thinking. Suddenly sharpens means we begin to start thinking. It's memories that are gone. We begin to think. So I met that person. This is what I read about him. Everything about that person comes to you. Gnaws on kind words. Got it? Gnaws means we feel guilty. We feel guilty. There's a sense of guilt. Why did I not do this? Why did I not listen? Maybe I could have met him more often. Maybe I could have met her more often. Or whatever it is. You see, you keep examining all your thoughts, all your interactions. Unsaid promises never take, promises, walks never taken. He says, you feel about all the plans that you had made, right? All the plans that you had made, right? Maybe you had thought, I would go and meet the person, I would do this, I would do that. All the plans you've made and everything that you wanted to do. Got it? I would like to join his party, or I'd like to do this, I'd like to do something that you wanted to do, which involved the person who's no longer there. Maybe you wanted to read more books about him, maybe you wanted to interact more, but suddenly everything is gone. Why? What you thought you could do was never done. All right? Maybe you wanted to go and have an audience, meet the person, do certain things, but now time is over. So it's promised walks never taken. Got it? You wanted to do things you couldn't do. You made plans, but you kept breaking them. Got it? You never completed it. And that's how. And all that regret comes to you right now. Great soul dies. Our reality bound to them takes leave of us. He says the whole world, everything in the world is usually influenced by this great personality. When they leave, you, when I say everything in the world is everything in your world, for you or for many people. So anything in the world that is built around this person, suddenly when they go, the reality, we get the reality is that they are no more. And all the things that they influenced, will not be there. When they leave, our familiar day life vanishes with them. He says, things that were familiar, which we used to take for granted. Oh, he will do this, or she will do this. Right? We took it for granted. We thought that person will take care of it. This is how the world is going to function. This is the decisions he was going to take. But when the person leaves, we realize that there is a work that will not be done. There is a work that will not be done. And we want to know now who's going to do it. Our souls depended upon their nurture. He says our soul depended upon their nurture. Nurture is their guidance, their light. Everything we depended, like small plants, we depended on the shade of this huge tree. Maybe there were other things that we depended upon on this huge tree. Tree over here is a metaphor for the person. We needed their love. We needed their advice. We needed their direction. Got it? We needed to know how they are going to deal with a certain problem. So if there's a problem, how will they deal? What would they say? Right? We need them for that. Without them, our inner spirit feels small. Got it? We now shrink in. Shrink in means, and now we feel so small that now I have to take my own decision. I need to think on my own. That person's voice is no longer here. Dried up and weak, and we become dried up and weak, wizened. He says so it becomes, we begin to become small, weak, etc. But when, there's another word over here, wizened. Now get the word wizened. He says when everything fades, everything goes down, it's over. That's when you begin to think. You begin to become independent. You begin to think how that person thought, etc. And from there from there germinates the positivity. What is the positivity? That from their life we've drawn, and now we begin to take our own decisions. There's growth taking place. Our minds formed and informed. So he says our mind formed and informed. He says from their wisdom, got it? We received knowledge, we received wisdom, and with that we become informed. Their radiance falls apart. Without their light, we may feel completely lost and dark, right? We may feel completely lost and dark because they are no longer with us. They were like a light, their radiance, okay, their light, and their light is no more. We feel completely lost and dark, but we are not so much maddened. He says we are not so crazy with grief. We don't get so crazy with grief as reduced to the unutterable ignorance that we become trapped and we cannot think. When a great tree dies, this is one of the things it does. It even inspires, and that inspirational value, so the inspirational value is very important. Got it? They inspire you. What do they inspire you? New growth. Got it? So from complete sorrow, complete darkness, it inspires you to grow again. And we are not so maddened. That means we do not get so crazy with grief. We do not completely obliterate ourselves, finish ourselves with grief. Instead, we feel small. Got it? We don't just feel small and helpless. We are not people who are trapped in a dark cave of complete ignorance. No. That we cannot do anything. We are people who will rise. And this over here says we are not much maddened. He says we do not turn crazy as reduced to unutterable ignorance. That means ignorance that cannot even be spoken about. We do not turn completely foolish, small and helpless, or like people in a dark, cold caves. What are caves? Correct? What is a cave? That means in a shelter from where you cannot come out. Got it? So you've become like an ignorant person. There's no future for you because you cannot think. He says, no, we are not like that. He says, we are not like that. And when great souls die, after a period, peace blossoms. He says, because when great souls die, after some time, what comes up? Peace begins to blossom. You see, when a tree dies, suddenly you find new trees coming up, new flowers coming up. Correct? He says, peace begins to blossom. They have taught us so much. They have said so many things that now, after their death, and we've realized that they are no more, peace will begin to come. Peace will grow in our hearts. This is the turning point of the poem, the positivity of the poem. The poem gives us a positivity. It begins to give us new hope. And after a period of peace blossoms, slowly and away, irregularly. He says the peace will grow in our hearts. However, it does not happen overnight. Got it? It takes time. It's not immediate. It happens slowly, and some days may be difficult and some days may be better. So that is why it says irregularly. So this peace will not be peace that will continue, but it will be irregular peace. But you have overcome. You've become an overcomer. Got it? What you begin to do is you begin to actually take your own decisions and you begin to have peace. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. He says the empty space, that is, the loss of this great personality, does not stay empty forever. There is no more loneliness forever. It will fill up with energy, love, and memories of the person. Soothing electric vibrations basically are, got it? It is love, memories of that person, and energy that you get from that person. And this is how this poem inspires us that no matter what happens, we have the resilience to move ahead and to move forward. Our senses restored, never to be the same. Whisper to us, they existed, they existed. He says, our senses restored, never to be the same. Whisper to us, they existed, they existed. Our hearts which are broken, our senses restored means our broken hearts, they permanently changed. They're permanent, but yet they are now restored. They have once again come to their original form. To be the same, whisper to us, they existed, they existed. And no matter what happens, we always remember them as people who existed. That means the tree is gone, the great souls are gone, but their thoughts, their wisdom, their love, their actions will always remain. And that is what gives us strength, and that is what gives us strength and the ability to move ahead. And we find ourselves lucky enough to have known them. We can be and be better, for they existed. And this is the most wonderful conclusion. He says we can be our original selves, and not only what we are, but we can be much better than what we are. Why? Because of all that we have received from them, the inspirations. They existed, therefore we are. Got it? The values of Mahatma Gandhi, the values of Nelson Mandela, the values of other great personalities, they remain with us, and because they existed, we also feel greater, we have better lives, and we can choose to be better human beings to honor their memory. So with this, I end the poem, but I'm just giving you a few figures of speech. You have a metaphor that is the trees are for great personalities. You've got James Baldwin, Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi. You can put anyone else that you consider to be great, right? And is no more. Right? Personification is when you're giving human forms to things, like rocks on distant hills shudder. Shudder means move in fear. Got it? Shake in fear. Now, rocks cannot shake in fear. They're not human beings. But we are treating them like human beings, and therefore it's a personification. I'm sure you already know it. Imagery is again when you create images, a painting of picture with words, the lions hunking down, okay, the air becomes light, etc. And then the last one is repetition, which we have been doing. The great trees fall when great men. So this is repetition which helps us to emphasize a fact, to show us that something is happening, right? So anyway, God bless you all and have a wonderful time. Enjoy yourself. And if there's anything else, please get in touch with me. Talk to me on, you can always message me, and I'll be available, and I hope I do that. Okay? God bless you. But be patient. I'm not really somebody who's online always. Okay? God bless you. Have a nice day. Thank you.